Like, hey guys, remember me?
Hey!
I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks, but I'm back today. I wasn't planning on filming today, but I was supposed to have like a meeting that got canceled, so I have a little extra time right now. And I feel like the universe is plotting against me right now because I got this new tripod, and at first it kept like falling over, so I couldn't put my phone on it. And then right when I sat down, this dude like came by to try to sell something and he was like aggressively knocking on the door. But yeah, back at it. I also got this little microphone, as you can see, testing that out. I have a sneaking suspicion it sounds exactly like the microphone built into my phone. So, but if it does, it's fine. It was only like $20 off Amazon. So yeah, but let's get to the point. Let's talk about the real deal, the real reason I've gathered you all here today. So, before I start, I must ask you one question. Have you ever read a book that was so messed up you stopped in the middle of reading, pulled out your phone, looked up the author's details, and found their email address so you could email them and say, "Hey girl, what why did you write that?" Because that's what happened to me when I read Fantastic Land. Now, if you watched my BookTube newbie um, video, you'll know I briefly mentioned having a book club with one of my friends. And Fantastic Land is actually the very first book that we read, and it was incredible. Okay. 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of the craziest oh, hi. It's one of the craziest things I've ever read in my life. And as I mentioned in that book, I love like horror, thriller. And that book was so wild that I even say the name? It's Fantastic Land. I'll put it in the title. But this book was so crazy, and so let's break it down. Let's just start from the beginning. Okay. So something about this book that I like. I've never seen this done before, but I'm sure it's been done before, and I just somehow have like missed it. But this book is told in interview style. So every chapter is somebody who had something to do with this Fantastic Land incident, and it gets crazier and crazier by the chapter. So, what is the general synopsis of this book? I'm going to try to be intentionally vague because I want you to read it, and I'm scared I'm not going to do it justice, but this book is crazy, okay? If you're like a scary horror thriller kind of person, this is the book for you. But basically, it's about this theme park called Fantastic Land. That's basically like Disneyland. Um, and it's in Florida. And if you know about Florida, they have a cute little thing called a hurricane. They have hurricanes multiple times a year. And this book is about a giant, massive hurricane that slams Florida. And some people that work at this theme park, it's mostly like younger people. So it's like kids between the age of like 17 and 23. And there's like a couple adults there, um, keeping thing or trying to keep things intact. But they have a program at this theme park where you get paid if there's a hurricane. You get paid to stay at the theme park, and they have this massive like storm shelter. It's full of food, water, they got generators. So for like a normal storm, you'd be completely safe there for a few days. You could totally survive for like months, I think. It's they're supposed to have like a 6 month supply of like food and water in these shelters, right? So when the storm hits, there's like this collection of people. I'm not actually sure how many people. I think it might be around like 100, maybe a little more. They all decide to stay there. Once the hurricane hits, they shut down the park, they go to the storm shelters, and all hell breaks loose. Okay. So, since it's known that Fantastic Land does have like an intact storm shelter, they're at the bottom of like the emergency list. I forgot what they're called. Oh my god. The people like Red Cross, like those people, they're at the bottom of the list for them. So these people end up getting stuck in this theme park for 6 weeks. Okay. They make it like civilly, maybe like a week. And then there's this one night when they're in the storm shelter where the generator goes off and they're all in pitch black darkness. Everybody goes crazy and people already start dying. Like people start dying in the storm shelter. And once people start dying, it like sets off this chain event of all these horrific things. And so at this theme park, there are different categories of places. So there's like a Pirates of the Caribbean place. So it's like the pirates section. And there's like a superhero Marvel section. And there's this section called, is it fairies? I'm pretty sure it's fairies. It's either fairies or pixies, but I'm almost positive it's fairies, or maybe it's both. And so when things start getting crazy, everybody starts separating out into their own section. So everybody who works in Pirate Cove, they all go to Pirate Cove and they take shelter there. All the superheroes go to their superhero corner and they all start taking shelter there. And it just turns into this bloodbath, like Hunger Games situation where all the different sections of the park, they're all like competing against each other, trying to stay alive. Like everybody's in like savage survival mode. They're all like fighting each other. They've got like swords. They're literally decapitating each other. Okay. Like it gets crazy. It's so like gory in a good way. 'Cause sometimes I read gory things or like I see a horror movie that's really gory and I'm like, what is the point of this? But this is next level, okay? It's inspired by Lord of the Flies, and you can tell. Um, and this book is exactly what I thought, what I wanted Lord of the Flies to be, right? Because we had to read Lord of the Flies my senior year of high school, and all the teachers were like, oh my god, everybody loves this is everybody's favorite book. And so we all went into it really excited, and it was like kind of boring. And do you want to know what I think the difference is between Lord of the Flies and Fantastic Land is? I think Fantastic Land is more realistic. Like it's very realistic for someone in Florida to get hit by a hurricane and be trapped somewhere with like a large group of people. That happens every year, at least once a year. There's some huge hurricane that hits Florida, right? How likely is it that you're on a school trip on a plane and y'all crash onto an island? Right? So Lord of the Flies is like objectively crazy because like it's a bunch of kids just like killing each other, right? But it's not realistic. Fantastic Land feels way more realistic, and I think that's why it was so scary because you're really watching people like, people in survival mode, they're crazy. Like when people really think their back is against the wall, they'll do a lot of things that they typically wouldn't do. And that's what this book is. You're literally watching people stranded in the middle of nowhere, no way out, nobody's coming to get them. And yeah, you're watching them trying to survive and they're doing it in the worst way possible. It's completely savage. It's so gross. It's some of the craziest stuff I've ever read in my life. And it was so good. The writing is amazing. The way all the stories like bleed into each other, they all build on each other. And there's like foreshadowing that you don't know is foreshadowing until the end. Oh, it was so good. I like I said, I feel like I can't do it justice. It's literally like, yeah, like Lord of the Flies, Hunger Games, but at Disney World. It's like it's so good and it's like weirdly realistic. Like I said before, the whole hurricane thing, but like I said, I feel like I know people in real life who would behave the way some of these characters did in this situation. It's really fascinating. And you get to hear from all kinds of people. You get to hear from like, there's like these really old maintenance workers that kind of like take shelter underground. So they're mostly safe from all the chaos. They're like 60s, whatever. And then you hear from like the kids that were there, like the 17, 18-year olds, the like 30-year olds that were in charge of all the kids. It's a wild ride. And you hear from everybody from every single section of the park. And let me tell you, some of my favorite chapters, when you get to, I'm not going to spoil it because oh my god, it's so good. This is my favorite chapter is Jason's chapter. And he's this guy that somehow escaped from all the chaos, and he like waded in the water because the people who work at Fantasticland live in these dorms that are specifically for the workers. And so he breaks out of the storm shelter and he somehow safely makes it to the dorms like miles up the road, and he's like camping out there. And then one day somebody finds him and all this. Oh my god, that's when you get to the Jason chapter, please let me know. If anyone reads this book, please, please, because me and my friend both loved that chapter. It was so good, but genuinely, this was a 5 out of 5. The writing was amazing, and it does that thing like Grady Hendrix is kind of like this too, where like you'll be reading something and you read one of the most horrific things you've ever seen in your life, and then suddenly something funny happens right after though, and you're like, should I laugh? It feels like the vibes are off, but yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm being intentionally vague because I feel like I kind of knew, like I knew the general plot of like they're trapped at this theme park, there's a hurricane, yada yada. But yeah, um genuinely, I would read it again to be honest. And that's saying something because I have ADHD and I can't do anything multiple times without getting bored. So yeah, if you're in the market for a new horror book, I like I said, I'm not doing it justice, but you can go online and read the reviews for it. They're like overwhelmingly positive for a reason. Oh yeah, and you know how I mentioned I emailed the author because I was like, I read this one crazy chapter. When you get to the chapter with the stamp, there's like a stamp, there's like a, these kids are trying to steal from like a gift shop and somebody gets like, when you get to that part, you'll see why I stopped reading and to like ask this guy like what is your deal? And he actually emailed me back like 6 hours later. I emailed this man like in the middle of the night, dude. It was like 1 a.m. my time. And I woke up the next day and he had replied to me already. And he's very nice, very sweet. He answered all my questions. So give Mike some love. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's a very nice, cool guy. And he did get back to me and he answered my questions. So, anyway, to sum it all up, Fantastic Land, 10 out of 10. People get stranded at a theme park and then fight each other to the death because they think that they're never going to get rescued. It's a wild ride. And I highly recommend it. And every time I look at a theme park now, it's all I think about. Like I feel like I'll never be able to go back to a theme park because I'm gonna be like, they're here. The people are here. Somebody's gonna shoot me with an arrow because I walked into the wrong section of the park. But anyway, that's Fantastic Land. Hope this wasn't too all over the place. Like I said, I wasn't planning on filming today, so I didn't really take notes or anything. I just kind of like off the top of my head talked. But yeah, that's that. Please give it a read. It's on Libby. You can buy it. I got mine from my library when I read it, but it is on Libby. So if you don't want to spend the money, please check it out on there. Okay. So I think that's all my talking points. Thank you if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next one.